Let us begin this transmission by reminding you that this is called the domino effect. We are going to describe 2 rows of dominoes. Number 1, you are beginning to see an acceleration in many aspects of your society around the globe, shall we say, beginning to come apart at the seams. The idea is that, of course, many of the older structures, older systems in your society have to dissolve in order for new systems to take their place. This is natural in any important moment of transformation and transition in a society, but is especially accelerated in Earth-human society, since Earth is the kind of school where these things are magnified and amplified to bring everything out on the surface, on the table, so that you can finally decide what kind of a culture, what kind of a society, what kind of a reality that you prefer. So you are experiencing many different kinds of chaos. You're experiencing more expressions of violence. You're experiencing the negative to a greater degree, very amplified. So again, you can, by witnessing these things, by experiencing these things, decide to do something about it, to allow yourself to focus not on the symptoms anymore, but on the causes, and to deal with the causes, to have heartfelt discussions, heartfelt attempts to get at the root of why there are so many people on your planet that feel disempowered, disconnected, fearful, insecure. It is very important, extremely important at this time that you start understanding how to include, how to communicate, how to resolve, how to find commonality, how to understand where many people are coming from when they express the idea of violence, when they express the idea of unworthiness, undeservability, fear, the idea of knowing that they simply haven't got an understanding of what true power is, that they are simply attempting to control their outer reality because they have never been taught how to go within, how to connect, how to know that the connection is there, how to relate to the idea that they are an aspect of creation, a reflection of all that is. It is important to start, where appropriate, when synchronicity makes it obvious, to share ideas, to offer suggestions, to offer options and opportunities to think in different ways, to let everyone know that there is common ground, no matter how diverse, no matter how divisive, no matter how different an individual's perspective may seem to be. You all contain the potential for all of these perspectives yourselves, and if you have found a way within yourselves to absorb the information we have been sharing with you to the point where you can resolve these situations within your own being, then you have the capability. You have the ability at least to attempt to offer, again, where appropriate, offer a suggestion, an option, an opportunity to see things in a different light, to point out to people their true ability to be self-empowered, their true nature as an aspect and a reflection of all that is. Again, not that they have to listen, but it is. If you truly want, truly desire, truly prefer a world of peace, a world of unity, a world of understanding, it is, in a sense, your opportunity to provide at least a conversation, an option for a conversation, an option for connection, an option for communion, so that you may all start to realize that you all are on the same planet, You all are in the same school. You are all classmates, experiencing different ideas, different degrees, different ways of understanding what you are all about, all for the purpose of expressing more and more of who you truly are, without fear, without doubt, allowing you to understand how to work in service to others, and that every single perspective has some degree of validity in it and comes from a place that you can understand, whether that is positive or negative. You can understand because you have all experienced the idea of your own fears and your own doubts and your own sense of worthiness or not, and your own sense of deservability or not in the various situations and challenges that crop up in your lives. You can all relate to whatever it is anyone is experiencing, no matter how different it may seem to your perspective. You can all understand that this is coming from a place where they don't necessarily know that there are other options. Give them that choice. Give them that understanding, again, without any need for them to take it. Whatever they do with it, as we have said many times, is none of your business, because you don't know their life path. And it is sufficient that you, at least in the appropriate situation when synchronicity makes it obvious to do so, that you at least make an attempt to ask, have you considered this? Let's talk about that. Let's explore this together. For I understand that all ideas and all perspectives are valid because they all come from some place I can understand, whether it be a positive or a negative place. I can understand. So let's work together to find common ground so that we can, in fact, experience peace, unity, and the evolution of humanity moving forward in a positive, constructive, and loving way. Now, the idea is that, again, once the domino has been pushed, it will knock all the other dominoes down, and so eventually you will start to see an acceleration in things coming apart, in things falling apart, in things dissolving that are no longer relevant for your society. They need to break down so that you can shuffle through the debris and you can find the pieces that you can put back together that will work for the kind of world that you say you prefer. The idea also is to understand that while there have been many expressions of negativity that are existing in your society and will continue to accelerate in your society for a while until all these things are coming, as you say, to a head, there are also many, many positive things going on in certain ways. And you have an opportunity to accelerate those as well. So the two streams of dominoes, the two rows of dominoes, are not only the one that is causing old systems to collapse, but also the ones that are revealing new information to you that will be an indication of where you are heading in your future, of how you can positively bring your society together, and how you can open up to who you actually are as a species, as a society, and start to remember and recognize yourselves as part of a larger galactic family. So, you have many incidents that are expressions of the idea of fear and negativity, and you have many expressions that have started to happen recently that are an expression of opening up new doorways to be able to see what your future can be. Recently, many of you might already be aware, there was, relatively recently within the last several years, an incident that many of you are becoming aware of now, where one of our ships was fired upon by a missile from one of your planes. As you have probably witnessed in the video that captured the incident, the missile bounced off the ship harmlessly, thus demonstrating several things. Number one, the vehicles are solid vehicles. They are not illusions. The missile bounced off. When the missile bounced off, pieces of the missile came off the missile. The pieces that came off the missile when the UFO, which wobbled a little bit at the impact, and then continued on its merry way, took the debris from the missile with it. because you could see that the debris was caught in the space-time energy field of the vehicle. And as the vehicle accelerated away, the debris caught in its bubble traveled with it exactly at the same speed. So it demonstrated several things. And the idea is to understand, as has been demonstrated also many times, that we cannot really be harmed by your technology at this point. We are here to stay. There is a lot of traffic around your planet that is coming and going. And at the same time, allowing you to understand that your technology is no threat to us at all. Now, we have also demonstrated many times, and we have mentioned this before, that sometimes there have been vehicles that have hovered over what you call your nuclear missile sites, and they have scrambled and canceled and reordered the nuclear launch codes. Again, demonstrating you will not be allowed to have a global thermonuclear war. Now, this gives you the opportunity to piece all these things together and to understand and to demonstrate we pose no threat to you, and that there are certain exceptions to the non-interference directive that we will not allow. Because the idea is that anything that would not stay in your own backyard, like a global thermonuclear war, would rip into other dimensions and other realities because of the release of energy, and that is not allowed. If it stays in your own backyard, you can do whatever you wish. But you cannot allow an incursion into others' realities. So, we will prevent that. It is the one exception to the idea of the non-interference directive. Now, at the same time, the dominoes on the other side. Many of you may be aware that very recently you had another, what you call, congressional hearing about the existence of UFOs. Specifically for the purpose of protecting what you call whistleblowers, and specifically for the purpose of making sure that no military personnel who report a UFO lose their job, lose their station, lose their career, or are ridiculed for making that report. The congressional hearing is taking all of this into advisement, and this is now a very, very important step toward the idea of full disclosure, which is coming up in the near future. So know that these things are happening. If you are not aware of them, seek them out. You can, because of your internet, Google them, as you say, and find these things. You can find the video of the missile striking the UFO, if you haven't seen it. You can find excerpts of the congressional hearing, where all of these different whistleblowers are talking about what they know, what they have experienced, what they've seen, and putting it on the record. You can find these things all over what you call your YouTube. Seek them out. Educate yourselves as to what's going on so that you are informed when you have your conversations with other people. The idea also, once again, that we would like to put out before you is, if you will see what we have talked about displayed on the channel's shirt, 2027, the year that everything changes, will be the idea, as it stands right now, the year where open contact happens, where ETs are introduced publicly to your society, where you can begin to understand that you are not alone in a very visceral way, in a very public way. Some of you may remember the period of time that we recently talked about that we call the eye of the needle. Do you remember that? Yes. And we talked about it as the idea that you needed to strip away what wasn't you so that what was essentially you was as if it could pass through the eye of the needle to allow yourself to be truly more of who you are. But there's another meaning to why we named it that. And that is because as your society is now coming apart at the seams, the information we are providing to you is the needle and the thread that you can use to stitch it back together. So use this information, apply this information in your reality in a positive, constructive way, and it will stitch back together the pieces that truly need to be creating the new systems, the new understanding that will allow your society and humanity to evolve in a positive way into your future as members of our galactic family, which you are and always have been. It's just that you forgot. So we remind you who you are, but it is time for you to remember who you are more fully. Time for you to act, get out there, and start to interact. Again, not against anyone's will. This is not proselytizing. This is not forcing anything upon anyone. You must trust that synchronicity will provide an obvious opportunity when it is appropriate for you to share information that could help someone see things from a different perspective. But it is nothing that you need to force on anyone. There is no desperation in this. Everyone's path is unique. Everyone's path is important. And not everyone necessarily has to align with the idea of open contact. Everyone, again, I remind you, is an eternal, immortal, eternal and infinite soul. If they don't get it this time around, they will get it some other time. There is no rush. There is no hurry. You always, 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 always have another chance. Always, without end, forever and ever and ever. This is one of the aspects of the unconditional support of creation and all that is. You always have another chance with your free will as a soul to decide what it is you will experience and what lessons you will learn for your soul's growth. So, be the domino that can gently tip over the next domino and the next and the next, and start a chain reaction of positivity, of information, of connection, communication, and communion. Be the domino effect. One little tap is all it can take, and the rest shall fall into place. Do you understand?
Yes.
So, one last thing. The idea of the display of the concept that 2027, the year that everything changes, if you will look closely at the shirt, everything, E-T, is not just a prediction. This is something that when you see it and focus on it, can allow you to move and create that reality. So it's not that we are just predicting something that will happen. This allows you to make it happen by focusing on this idea and feeling this reality as truly visceral, to imagine what it really will be like to suddenly realize that you are being introduced to actual extraterrestrials publicly in your society. Whether it be by a news conference, a government announcement, the revelation of ships floating in your sky that are undeniable, whatever the methodology is, and it may be these and all of these and more, when it becomes undeniable, feel what that is going to do to your society, what potential, what changes may occur because of that. The idea not only of being exposed to extraterrestrial information in societies more directly, of possible literal physical interactions here and there with extraterrestrials, but also the revelation of hybrid beings that actually have been living and working among you for decades. They will be revealed to you in your society because they have been among you all this time, helping out where they can, moving you forward where they can, mitigating negativity where they can. So the idea is you will start to know who they are. Many of you may start interacting with them here and there. It won't happen all at once, but it will happen and it will grow. And then not only the idea of seeing them face to face, knowing that they are here and among you, but the idea of exposure to the frequency of us and other beings physically will upgrade your vibration, will allow you to really release your fears, your doubts, your indecisions, will allow you to move forward in a very powerful way, so that not only can you eventually adapt and acclimate to that frequency of the ETs, such as ourselves and others, but also that you can allow yourselves to begin to experience more phenomenology, such as telepathy, psychic functioning, precognition, and also the ability to perceive spirits. Because when you raise your vibration enough, you can match the vibration to some degree of the spirit realm, and they can lower their vibration to match yours more easily, and you can start to actually interact with spirits. And you will then know you have never lost anyone. Your soul family is still with you, just in a different state. All of these things over the next couple of decades will start to increase in humanity once open contact occurs. Take advantage of what you are being offered. But again, remember, focusing on the idea of what is printed on the channeled shirt is not simply a prediction. As you focus on it, it is a movement. It is an energy that you bring into reality, that you crystallize and manifest. Because if you so desire this to be your reality, then here is the marker. Focus on it. Allow it to be real. Because it is one out of an infinite number of probabilities. Focusing on this can navigate you to making sure that this is the manifestation you experience.